Yes, very good afternoon. Right, so we are studying the part 1 first schedule, yes, in the Chartered Accountants Act, yes, and in which we saw clause 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes, of the part 1 first schedule. Yes, what is clause 1, part 1 first schedule? Allows any person to practice in his name unless such person is also a CA in practice and is in partnership or employed by him. Then very important ATF is clause 2 part 1 first schedule. We've seen a lot of questions being coming in the exam from this one. Right, so chartered accountant in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he, yes, pays or allows or agrees to pay or allow directly or indirectly any share, commission or brokerage in the fees or profits of his professional business to any person other than ICAI member, partner, retired partner, legal representative of a deceased partner, member of any other professional body and specified qualified persons. Yes, legal representative of a deceased partner, can they get a share in the profits of the firm? If it is mentioned in the partnership agreement, if the period has been specified, then yes, otherwise no. Right, sole proprietor dies, can his business be sold? Yes, it is nothing but sale of goodwill. Even the right to use the firm name can be sold. But it should be completed within 1 year from the date of death of the proprietor, normal case. And disputed case within 1 year from the date of settlement of dispute. Within 1 year of death, you have to inform the institute that there is a dispute. Right, so say X ka business has been sold to Y. So can the legal representative of X get a share in the earnings from Y? No. In case of sole proprietorship, you get a one-time lump sum payment, no participation in the earnings of the firm. But in case of a partnership firm, you also get participation in the earnings of the firm. Tell me once again, what are the wordings of 211? Pays or allows or agrees to pay or allow directly or indirectly any share, commission or brokerage in the fees or profits of his professional business to any person other than ICAI member, partner, retired partner, legal representative of a deceased partner, member of any other professional body and specified qualified persons. So clause 2 says not to give anybody. And clause 3 says not to take from anybody. So what is clause 3? Accepts or agrees to accept any part of the profits of professional work from any person other than 156. What is 156? ICAI member, member of any other professional body and specified qualified persons. Then 4, enters into partnership in or outside India with any person other than 156. That is ICAI member, member of any other professional body and specified qualified persons. Then clause 5, secures, yani ke canvassing, and secures either through the services of a person who is not his partner or who is not his employee or through means which are not open to a CA, any professional business. Provided 2, 3, 4 जिनके साथ sharing, accepting partnership allowed, उनके पास से securing professional business also allowed. Right, so and then we prepared a common chart, for the exceptions of 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we prepared a common chart. And then after that we came to the ATF में top 10 वाला clause. है ना, ATF में top 10, clause 6 part 1 first schedule. A chartered accountant in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he solicits client or professional work directly or indirectly by CAPIB. What is CAPIB? Circular, advertisement, personal communication, interview or by any other means. However, there are 2 exceptions to 611. Provided that nothing contained herein shall be construed as preventing or prohibiting a member from applying, requesting, inviting, securing professional work from another CA in practice or responding to tenders and inquiries issued by various users and organizations of professional services from time to time and getting professional work as a consequence. Right, so 2 exceptions to 611, one within the CA fraternity and second responding to tenders and inquiries. aware regarding the maintenance of a panel and then you applied and paid the earnest money deposit, no, guilty of professional misconduct. Enquiry regarding maintenance of panel, guilty of professional misconduct. And roving inquiries regarding the panel, again guilty of professional misconduct. Right? And one important point we studied regarding these tenders and inquiries, if it is open for other professionals, then you can respond to any tender or inquiry. But if it is only for chartered accountants and the minimum fees have been prescribed, only then you can respond. If minimum fees have not been prescribed, then you cannot respond to that tender or inquiry. And then after that, also the website guidelines we studied under 611. And also that 144.3, na, the representation ka right. He made unsubstantiated derogatory remarks against the management of the company. So, again, he's abusing the right to make the representation. Yes, we said he should be saying that how he's being acting independently and cautiously through the term of his office and his willingness, if he so chooses to continue as an auditor of the company if reappointed by the shareholders. And there should be no solicitation, there should be no canvassing for his continuance as an auditor of the company. Right, so those were the first three questions which we saw over there regarding 144.3, the right to make representation given to the retiring auditor. Then we said book or article, the author is the member of the institute and a firm name not allowed to be given. And then after that we just saw what are the contents of clause 7 part 1 first schedule. Yes, advertises his professional attainments or services or uses designation or expression other than that of chartered accountant on professional documents such as letterheads, signboards, visiting cards, unless it be a degree of university established by law in India, recognized by central government, title indicating membership of ICAI, or an institution whose membership has been recognized by the central government or the council. And provided that a member in practice may advertise through a write-up subject to the guidelines issued by the council. Right, so 2 misconduct and 2 exceptions in 711. What are the 2 misconduct in 711? Advertises his professional attainments or services. And what is the second misconduct over there? Uses unapproved wrong designations. And what are the 2 exceptions? One, which designations and descriptions are allowed? Degree of university established by law in India, recognized by central government, title indicating membership of ICAI, and an institution whose membership has been recognized by central government or council. And what is the second exception? Okay, he may also advertise through a write-up. So now actually under 711, we are going to study 3 set of guidelines. One, so what is there in the exception? Yes, so we are going to study 3 set of guidelines under 711. One, which is the exception to 711, we are going to study the write-up guidelines. Then after the write-up guidelines, we are going to study the directorship guidelines under 711. Yes, the directorship guidelines. And last, under 711, we are also going to see the associate correspondent guidelines. So like, in 611, we saw the website guidelines. In 611, we saw the website guidelines. Where under 711, we are going to see 3 set of guidelines. The write-up guidelines, the directorship guidelines, and the associate guidelines. But before we go to these guidelines, again, we have some, clarifications of ICAI with respect to clause 7, part 1, first schedule. Right, so first we are going to see this list, like yesterday we had seen the list for 611, the prohibited ways of solicitation. You remember greeting cards and invitations, could be sent only to the clients, relatives, and the friends of the member concerned only. You cannot send it to all the partners, right? So similar guidelines over here also. Right, so can you state on your professional documents that you are an income tax consultant, cost consultant, or a management consultant? Or that you're a member of parliament or municipal councillor or any other functionary? Can you state that along with your ACA, FCA ka degree? Can you state it on professional documents? No. Can you become a member of parliament? Yes, but it is improper to state so on professional documents. Can you become a tax consultant? Rather, many chartered accountants are tax consultants. But can you write that on your professional documents? No, you cannot mention that as a degree on your professional documents. Right, so improper to state on professional documents. Then year of establishment. I think yesterday also this year of establishment had come in the case of the website. And website, what did we say? It can be given on the website of the firm on pull request. Okay, only when specifically asked for, then we provide the year of establishment and not the date of establishment. Right, on the stationery of the CA firm, like say on the letterhead or on the visiting card, can I write down since 1945? Can I write down the year of establishment on the stationery of the CA firm? No, it is not allowed. Should not be mentioned on the stationery of the CA firm. So, you become a chartered accountant in 2017. So, can you write on your visiting card since 2017? No. Should not be mentioned on the stationery. And website, what is said, that website, it can be given only on pull request. And in the write-up, I told you, under 711, we are going to study the write-up guidelines. Now, write-ups are two types. So, one, it is the write-up of the member, and second, it is the write-up of the firm. One, it could be a write-up of, say, a partner of the firm or an employee of the firm. And one, it could be a write-up of the firm itself, PwC ka write-up, KPMG ka write-up. So it can be given in the firm's write-up. Obviously, there is no question of giving the year of establishment in a member's write-up. And it would be coming in the firm's write-up. So finally, we learned 3 points regarding year of establishment. Stationery, not allowed. Website, it is allowed but only on specific pull request. And third, in the write-up, it is allowed to be given only in the firm's write-up. Right, then can members in practice also practice as advocates? So you're a chartered accountant and you're also having the LLB degree, lawyer degree. So can you also practice as an advocate? It says yes, but subject to the permission of the Bar Council. So ICAI says we have no problem, but you have to take the permission of the Institute of Lawyers, which is called as the Bar Council of India. Right, so now, but it says one thing which we can tell you, okay, you cannot state CA and advocate simultaneously. So you can't print one visiting card on which you mention that you are a practicing CA also and that you are a practicing advocate also. So you have to print two different visiting cards. One which shows you as a practicing chartered accountant and one as an advocate. Right, so there was asked in the exams on this one. Yes, what was the question number? I think question number 4. Right, yes, come to question number 4. Be a practicing CA as well as a qualified lawyer. Yes, are you all there? Be a practicing CA as well as a qualified lawyer was permitted by the Bar Council to practice as a lawyer also. So I told you, whose permission you have to take to practice as an advocate? Bar Council. So was permitted by the Bar Council to practice as a lawyer also. He printed his visiting card, okay, wherein he mentioned his designation as CA and advocate. है ना, खर्चा waste हो गया visiting card print करने का. Because now again he will have to print the visiting cards, so 2 separate visiting cards, one as a CA and one as an advocate. Right, so under clause 7, part 1, first schedule. Then second part, members of the institute in practice who are otherwise eligible may practice as advocates subject to the permission of the Bar Council. But in such case, they should not use the designation CA in respect of matters involving the practice as an advocate. In respect of other matters, they should use the designation CA, but they should not use the designation CA and advocate simultaneously. Since B has printed his visiting card wherein he mentioned his designation as CA and advocate, which is prohibited under the above clause, hence B is guilty of professional misconduct. Right? So CA and advocate together will not be allowed. And can you also practice as an advocate subject to the permission of the Bar Council? Okay. Right. Then after that, advertisement in the press. Like yesterday also we said, no, okay, can you give an advertisement saying that tax return at 999, 2 tax return, 1 tax return free? No, you cannot give such advertisement. But can you give an advertisement in the press for change in the address of your firm or change in the constitution, phone number of your firm? Yes, but what did we say? Even that advertisement should be given by way of a bare statement of facts. Yesterday I told you, you should even avoid the expression such as well-known firm. And you're not allowed to say even that you are a well-known firm. So what purposes it says, can you advertise in the press? One, for job vacancies. You're taking articles, you're taking freshly qualified chartered accountants or chartered accountants with 10 years of experience. So for that purpose, can you advertise in the press? Yes. Then disposal, acquisition of property on behalf of client. You might be knowing, no, when you dispose any property or acquire any property, you have to give a public notice, one in the English newspaper and one in the vernacular language. Right? So many a times they appoint a chartered accountant to acquire or dispose any property. Then for that purpose, can the CA advertise in the newspaper? Yes, for that purpose, again, he can advertise in the newspaper. Acting as trustee, liquidator, executor. This we had seen on day one when we started with ethics. You know, one, you can provide the entire list of MCOS, management, consultancy, and other services. And in addition to that, one out of the three. And a trustee, liquidator, executor, administrator, arbitrator, representing client before the authorities. Second, appointment by central government, state government, court or legal authority. Or third, he could be appointed as a secretary. But we said that all these appointments should be on contract basis and not on salary come full-time basis. So can a CA in practice also act as a liquidator or a trustee executor? Yes. And for those purpose, can he advertise in the newspaper? Yes. Again, for those purpose, he can advertise in the press. Right. Again, it says not bolder than the substance of the advertisement. And this is a very important sentence. The last sentence which is there in the advertisement paragraph, which is a very important sentence regarding what ICAI wants to say about advertisement. Should not contain any promotional element. You know, our firm, Saturday, Sunday, holiday, Sunday, if you come to office, you get, Saturday, if you come to office, you get samosas and wafers. Promotional element. Nor claim superiority over other form of CAs. What you are saying, our salary 30% more as compared to others. And I told you in that circular, what was written, our salary 30% more as compared to others. So it says this should not be there. Should not have any promotional element and should not have any superiority over other form of CAs. Right, then publication of photographs and brief particulars of the members in magazines. Right, so in the Economic Times newspaper, or in the Financial Express, Business Standard, or these business magazines like Business India, Business World, Business Today, can an article of the chartered accountant or an interview of a CA in practice come in those? Yes, but again, what does it say? There should be no payment made for the same. You should not have made any payment. You made a payment of 5 lakh to Times of India and then they put your article or your, your interview in the newspaper. Provided you have not made any payment for the same. Rather, these big fours, they also have the media coordinators. Because these media people, they keep on approaching the various partners of the big four, asking their views about whatever changes have come in the law. And then, the partners of the firm, they give their views. And next day in the newspaper, it comes, the CEO of Deloitte has said so, the KPMG partner has said so, the world CEO has said so. So what does it say? Can such articles, magazines come in the newspaper? Yes, but provided no payment is made for them. And they cannot say in that article, and you can also approach our firm, we will do this work for you at reasonable cost. You understand? If you're asked for advertisement, so can you further say in that advertisement, okay, we will do this work for you at reasonable cost? No. So what does it say? There is no advertisement of promotional entertainments. Then notice in the press relating to the success in an examination of an individual candidate. They've not made a case study on this one so far. You understand? Your office ka article, All India first rank. So again, now boss ka collar tight. He says, the boss is saying he got this All India rank only because he did his articleship with us. Anywhere else he would have done his articleship, it was not possible only. We used to allow him every day to attend 5-hour classes in the morning, 5-hour in the evening. You understand? Then every day in office he used to carry 1 or 2 modules of ICAI to study. Then we gave him 8 months leave. Then all corporate governance and consolidated financial statements, cost audit, tax audit, all that we taught him live during the articleship. And that is why this rank has come. You understand? Blowing the trumpet again, it says no such details regarding the principle can be given. Regarding the principle, you can only mention 3 things. Name of the principal, name of the firm, and the town in which the principal practices. So name of principal, A. Yes, name of the firm, A and Company, and town in which he practices, Pune. That's it. That's the only details of the, what you say, the principal which can be given. What are the details of the principal which can be given? Name of principal, firm, and the town in which he practices may be published. You understand? Otherwise, your office ka article got all India merit rank, and that is why tomorrow those media people, you know, IBN Lokmat and ABP Maza, all those have come to take the principal's interview. And you are blowing your trumpet. It says not allowed. What are the three details of the principal which are allowed to be given? Name of the principal, name of the firm, and the town in which he practices. Next one, members may appear on television. So that's again on ET now and CNBC TV 18 and films. Nowadays, so in the beginning of the movie, you get to see chartered accountants also, na? Who have been the chartered accountants for this movie. And agree to broadcast in the radio. So 8:30 in the morning, you can go to Radio Mirchi ka office and say, hello, good morning, Pune. You understand? And then an interview would be taken of yours. Or you can also give lectures at forum. You understand? So you could be called, you know, to deliver the lectures on, say, GST, demonetization, equity market, or any such. Now, when you go on TV, or when you go on the radio, or when you're going to some forum to give a lecture, it says these are the things which you should keep in mind. May give their names and describe themselves as chartered accountants. Special qualifications and specialized knowledge directly relevant to the subject matter of the program may also be given. So, you know, you've called somebody to give an article, to give a, a lecture on transfer pricing. So you can tell about his expertise, you know, this fellow, he's been doing transfer pricing assignments for last 20 years or so. But no references should be made in the case of a practicing member to the name and address or the services of his firm. This is the problem which ICAI has. Firm name not allowed to be given. Yesterday, books and articles also we said, na, jitna book likhna hai likho, jitne articles likhne likho. So, ek sentence yaad rakho, the author is a member of the institute. And a firm name not allowed to be given. And then what does it say? What he may say or write must not be promotional of his or his firm, but must be an objective professional view of the topic under consideration. Right, come to the question bank, Mr. Nigel. Yes, C.A. Nigel, question number 5. Right, question number 5, page number 2.29. Are you all there? Right, yes, start reading. Nigel, a CA in practice, delivered a speech in the national conference organized by the Ministry of Textiles. While delivering the speech, he told to the audience that he is a management expert. We already took this point yesterday, no? Can he use the designation expression management expert? No, because neither it is a degree of university established by law in India, nor recognized by central government, nor is it an institution whose membership has been recognized by central government or council. So he told to the audience that he is a management expert and his firm provides services of tax and audit at reasonable rates. He also requested the audience to approach his firm of CAs for these services. And at the request of the audience, he has also distributed his business cards and telephone number of his firm to those in the audience. ऊपर अभी हमने क्या बोला था? Objective professional view of the topic under consideration. I think I just read out this sentence to you now. What was it? Objective professional view of the topic under consideration. The topic under consideration to gone aside. He has opened his own shop only over there. Audit and tax at reasonable rates. He circulated his visiting card at the request of the auditor. He said you can approach our firm for the same. You understand? So clause 6 also and clause 7 also. Right? Section 7 read with clause 7. Right? Then members may appear on televisions. And the paragraph which I just read to you upar in the clarifications. Are you all with me? What is written first? Clause 6, then clause 7. Then after that, the objective professional view of the topic under consideration. Then I just discussed with you yesterday the point on the management expert. And then, therefore, he is deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct under 6 and 7 as he has used the designation management expert in a speech and he has also made a reference to the services provided by his firm of CAs at reasonable rates. And distribution of cards to the audience is also a misconduct in terms of clause 6. Do you get that? Okay, right? So that is regarding the objective professional view of the topic under consideration. Right. Next after that, publicity is permitted. And now for appointments to position of local or national importance or for the views of members on matters of similar importance. So like, say you are appointed as the Indian embassy to go to Japan or to go to Germany or to go to America to represent Indian Chartered Accountancy course. So now it says in these cases publicity is permitted. But what does it say? Publicity is permitted for the institute and its members generally. And you cannot say you are a partner in A&M company. So you cannot only talk about your firm and your practice and what all work you do. It says you should generally talk about the entire CA profession and what is their responsibility and what are the types of services provided. In Marathi they say, I don't know whether I should say, but in Marathi they say, की फक्त स्वतःच्या पोळीवर तूप नाही घ्यायचं. You understand? You should not take ghee only on your own roti. You should apply ghee on everybody's roti, That is what I am saying over here. Okay, so what does it say? For the institute and its members generally, in that case, publicity is allowed. What? For positions of local or national importance. Right, next after that, giving talks or lectures or attending a conference, पूरे life में एक ही बात याद रखना, you cannot give the firm name. So they may describe themselves as chartered accountants only when they are acting in their capacity as a CA. Right, then, can a CA firm conduct any training courses, seminars for their staff or so? Can a CA firm conduct any such training courses? Like, 28th of February, once the budget comes, immediately on 1st of March or 2nd of March, all these big fours, they have their budget sessions. And they keep these budget sessions. Whom all do they invite for the budget sessions? One, obviously, their staff. Then can they invite also the staff of other CA firms? Yes, so can PwC invite KPMG staff to attend their budget session? And can they invite their client staff to attend the budget session? Yes. So what does it say? You can invite, may invite the staff of other professional accountants and clients to attend the same. Again, undue prominence should not be given to the name of the accountant in any booklet or document issued in connection therewith. So, when they come for the budget session, they give a document called as, say, Budget Highlights 2017-18. So it should be just giving the budget highlights. At the end of the budget, you should not immediately give a fee structure regarding what services you provide at what rate. Right. Then members writing articles or letters, we've already said this, may give their names and use the description CA, but they are not allowed to use the firm name. And size of signboard for his office. If you see the old CA firms ka nameplate, it's of a standard size. You understand? Because earlier there was also a restriction on the size of the signboard of the CA firm. However, now that restriction has been removed. Right, so now the signboard of your CA firm, say, could be as big as this particular entire wall. So what does it say now? For the size of the signboard, it is at their own discretion and good taste. So earlier, old times, 30 years back, if you had to make a signboard of your firm, you used to get it painted from a painter. Now what do? You get a flex. You understand? And then you get it framed. But what does it say? Now you've prepared this signboard. Like, and these shops ke signboards like Central or any such, or any hotel vagere, how their signboards are there? Red color light, then green color light, then this light comes from year to year, then it goes from year to year, then it blinks, then it comes in different colors, like, Ganpati decoration. And some koi mandal mein there is lighting ka decoration which is done. It says use of such glow signs or lights on large size boards as is used by traders or shopkeepers would not be proper. So simple flex मार के frame करके लगाने का. No lighting, no decoration, no LED lights, nothing. No Cisca LED light, nothing. You understand? No. Right. So what does it say? Size of the signboard, it is at your own discretion and good taste. But what does it say? Not to put any glow signs, or any lights on the large size boards. Right, so those are the clarifications of ICAI for 711. Then I told you under 711, I am going to discuss with you 3 set of guidelines. What is the first set of guideline which I am going to discuss with you? The write-up guidelines. What is a write-up? It is writing up of the particulars of the members of the firm. Writing up the particulars of the members of the firm. What does it say? Whether in electronic form or whether in paper form. And where it can be given, this write-up of the firm? In the newspaper, journal, magazines, website in push as well as in pull mode in accordance with the guidelines. So where can the write-up of the member of the firm be given? Newspaper, journal, magazines and websites. Right? And what is write-up? Writing up of the particulars of the members and of the firm. And then what does it say? The write-up may include only the following information. In the write-up, you cannot write down anything other than what is mentioned over here. Right? So now first on the left-hand side, you have the members write-up. On the right-hand side, you have the firm's write-up. So first I'm studying the members write-up. So say CAA, membership number with the institute, say 1,50,000. Then age, say 40. Date of becoming ACA, date of becoming FCA. Date from which COP has been held. Recognized qualifications, language is known, telephone, mobile, fax, professional address, web, email, CA logo, passport size photograph, and details of employees working under him. You understand? So actually this is such brief information. What does it say? Name of the member, the degrees, ACA, FCA, COP, language is known, the address, CA logo, passport size photograph, details of employees, names of employees, and services provided. The list of services which is provided by your firm. So this is your name, then this is ACA, FCA, and the number of employees working under you, and what are the services provided by your firm. No advertisement, no solicitation, just as a bare statement of facts. Right. Then for the firm's write-up. Now, individual के write-up में क्या था? Membership number. Firm के write-up में क्या है? Firm's registration number. Here for the firm's write-up, you have the year of establishment. Then professional address, working hours. Telephone, mobile, web address, email, number of partners, names of proprietors and partners, CA logo, details of employees, names of employees. And then again the services provided. And say when it's a write-up of the firm, some partner of the firm will have to sign it on behalf of the firm. No. If it is a member's write-up, then obviously jo member ka write-up hai, it's his responsibility. But if it's the firm write-up, some partner of the firm will have to sign the write-up on behalf of the firm. So actually what you see, is there any advertisement over here? Is there any solicitation? Nothing. Only the name of the firm, working hours, year of establishment, address, website address, email, number of partners and employees, and the services provided. Then what are the other conditions related to the write-up? Okay, now, in the write-up, are you allowed to give the number of CAs working in your firm? In the write-up, just look above into the points and tell me, in the write-up, are you allowed to give the number of employees, CAs working in your firm? यहाँ पे लिया है ना, point number 15 and here point number 12. Details of employees working in your firm. So now how many CAs are working in your firm? Say 40. So can you write in the write-up that there are 40 CAs working in your firm? Yes. What you have done in the write-up, you have written that there are 80 CAs working in our firm. Right? So write-up should not be false or misleading and bringing the profession into disrepute. So should not be any false information. Are you allowed to give the number of employees working? Yes. But you are not allowed to give the false number of employees. No. There are 40 employees working. So why are you writing in the write-up that there are 80 CAs working in our firm? Right. Write-up should not claim any superiority. We've already seen that. 40% more salary as compared to others. Should not be indecent, sensational or otherwise of such a nature. You've given some emoticons, you've given a 4-liner poem, you've given some shero shairi on the write-up. It says it should not be indecent, sensational or otherwise of such a nature. Should not contain any testimonials or endorsements. What others think about you. Like, you could write on the reference, like aap CV banate ho, you give reference of 2 people in that CV, no? So here it says no testimonials, no representation. No names of the client, whether past and present. Should not include the names of the client. Look at the height of what extent they can give the guidelines to. Write-up should not be of a font size exceeding 14. Thank God they didn't specify the font. It should be only Times Roman or Calibri. Understand? But they say write-up should not be of a font size exceeding 14. And I've seen the write-up of these big fours, they have one more condition which they've self-imposed condition. Their write-up does not exceed 1 page of MS Word. जो Microsoft Word का, where you go from page 1 to page 2. So they have an internal rule, self-imposed. It's not given in the guidelines, but it should not exceed 1 page. That's maximum. Passport size photograph on the left side, and then on the right side the entire write-up is written, and it has to fit within 1 page. And it should not be of a font size exceeding 14. And should not contain any information about any achievements or award. So, you got some young leadership award, young entrepreneur award, you got some business leadership award, some, your Samaj ka, hai na, whichever community, from there you got some award, lifetime achievement award or any such. Okay, so it says no such achievements or awards can also be given in the write-up. Yes. That also is not allowed to be given. But rank is allowed to be given. You understand? If you get a rank, then you can write in the write-up, you've got whichever rank in whichever exams that you can write in the write-up. Okay, right? So that is the first set of guidelines, which is regarding the write-up guidelines. Now I come to the more important guidelines, which is regarding the directorship guidelines. Can a CA in practice become a director of a company? I am a CA in practice. Okay, I have my COP. Can I become a director in Infosys? Can I become a director in Infosys? Yes, I can become a director in a company. So can a CA in practice become a director in a company? Yes, he can become a director simpliciter. Who is a director simpliciter other than managing whole-time director? The only time which he devotes to the company is for attending the board meetings, and the only remuneration which he gets is the sitting fees for attending the board meeting. So that's other than managing whole-time director. That he is allowed to be a director of a company, that I will discuss with you in clause 11. But right now I am telling you as a fact, can a CA in practice also become a director of a company? Yes, he can become a director of a company. Are you getting that? Okay. Now, so the CA has his own practice, say A and company. Okay, CA in practice. And now say the CA is also to be appointed as a director in, say, Neo Limited. Okay, now being a director in Neo Limited, as a director of the company, information regarding CAA, CAA as a director, information regarding this director would be given in the prospectus. It would be given in the public announcements. Yes, it would be given in the public announcements. It would be given in the annual report of the company. Because you are a CA in practice, that is your practice. But for the company, so you are a director, no? So company has to give information regarding its directors to the shareholders, to the regulators. So, they will publish information regarding the director, in the prospectus of the company, in the public communications of the company, in the public announcements of the company, in the annual report of the company. And that is why at that point, attention is invited to clause 6 and 7 of part 1 of first schedule. You understand? Okay, whatever information regarding this director, who is also a CA in practice, is given in this prospectus public announcement, should not directly or indirectly amount to any solicitation or to any advertisement of professional attainments or services. You understand? Okay, so now CAA is a CA in practice, and he is also a director of a company, and being a director of a company, information regarding him has been given in the prospectus. And in the prospectus it is written that he has 22 years of experience in audit. He has been known for doing the audits of many listed companies. They are also specialists in consultancy and so. Now, this will amount to solicitation. This will amount to advertisement. So what does the guideline say? The moment a CA in practice comes to know that he is going to be appointed as a director of the company, he should invite the attention of the management to clause 6 and 7 of part 1 of first schedule. So who has to take the concerned steps? The director, the CA has to take the steps required. He has to invite the attention of management to 6 and 7, and he has to tell the management, okay, whatever material relating to me, you want to give in the public announcement, in the public communication, as far as possible, get it approved from me. तो मेरे बारे में अगर आपको कुछ भी prospectus annual report में डालना है, पहले you send it to me, I need to check it. And what will I check? That there is no solicitation, there is no advertisement, and very, very important, that firm name has not been given. Are you getting that? So a director cannot say, I don't know that they put information about me in the prospectus. I was not aware. The guidelines are very clear. See, you have to take the steps. You have to invite the attention of the management, and you have to approve the material before it has been put in these documents. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Right, you have a question in your books, the offer document of a listed company in which Mr. D. Yes, question number 1 only. Yes, are you there? Question number 1. The offer document of a listed company in which Mr. D, page number 2.28. You're there? In which Mr. D, a practicing CA, is the director, mentions the name of D as a director along with his various professional attainments and spheres of specialization. Is there any misconduct? Yes. Right? So the Council of ICAI, who has said this? The Council of ICAI has in a communication to the members stated that if a public company in which a CA in practice is a director issues a prospectus or gives any announcement that gives description about the CA's expertise, specialization and knowledge in any particular field, it shall constitute violation of clause 6 and 7 of part 1 of first schedule. The council has further stated that in such cases the member concerned has to take the necessary steps. Are you getting the important words over there? The member concerned has to take the necessary steps to ensure that such prospectus or public announcement or public communication do not advertise this professional attainments, and also that such prospectus or public announcement or communication do not directly or indirectly amount to solicitation of clients or for professional work by the member. Thus, in the instant case, S would be held guilty of professional misconduct and liable for disciplinary action. So, who has to take the required steps? Right? The member concerned should take the necessary steps. Are you reading it in the books now? Coming back to the guidelines. Yes, page number 2.27. And a member should take the necessary steps. And the material pertaining to the member as far as possible got approved by him. The expression CA is permissible. But what does it say? But the name of firm of CAs in which the member is a partner should not be given. Who has to take the required steps? The member concerned. And what he has to ensure? Okay, whatever material pertaining to him is to be given should be as far as practicable got approved by him. There should be no solicitation, there should be no advertisement. Otherwise, it will amount to a violation of clause 6 and 7 of part 1 of first schedule. Right? So that's the second set of guidelines, which is regarding the directorship guidelines. The third set of guidelines which I have to discuss with you is the associate guidelines. Can an Indian CA firm or can one CA firm work in association with or in correspondence of another CA firm? Can one CA firm work in correspondence with another CA firm? Whether that other CA firm, it is an Indian firm or a foreign firm? Is that okay? Can one CA firm work in correspondence with another CA firm? Like, you know, say 2005, 2006, during those times. I know there were these existing firms, you know, like SB Bilimoria and Company, AF Ferguson and Company, Choksey and others. You understand? And that time, all of these had been taken over by Deloitte. Like, that is how Deloitte penetrated into India. So actually, when I said I'm doing my article, I did my, that time articleship I was doing with Deloitte. But actually, the registered name of Deloitte in India was SBB. You know, SB Bilimoria and Company. So on their professional documents, did they write SB Bilimoria and Company in association with Deloitte Haskins and Sells? Did they write so on their professional documents in association with, you know, DHS or in correspondence of DHS? Can you write so on your professional documents that you are working in association with another CA firm? Like, so that Kalyani Wala and Mistry, that's another CA firm in Pune. Some time back, they were working in association with a European audit firm called Mazars. So now so they have become Mazars only. You understand? But can they state on professional documents in association with another CA firm? No. Improper to state on professional documents. Can you enter into such an association? Can you enter into such an association? Yes. Can you disclose such an association? No. There is no bar for entering into such an association. Can you work in association? Yes. So like these big fours, how they came into India by acquiring some existing firms. So for some time they worked in correspondence with them, in association with them. And after that, these existing firms were dissolved. And all the existing clients were transferred to these newly formed firms. And then Deloitte got registered into India, and that is how they came into India. Right, so can you enter into such an association? Yes. Can you disclose such an association? No. Right, so you see over there, it's written, the council has not barred entering into such an association, and the restriction given under the above clause is to bar an advertisement appearing derived from such association. You understand now? On the letterheads, visiting cards, professional documents, and associates of, correspondence of, in association with, is not permissible, whether the connection is with an Indian firm or whether it is with a foreign firm. Come to question number 11 of clause 6. Come to question number 11 of clause 6. I think it's 11. No. Yes, it's question number 13. Page number 2.20, question number 13. Yes, question number 13, page 2.20. A partner of firm of CAs during a TV interview handed over a biodata. कल किया था ना ये question? Handed over a biodata. और वहाँ पे वो second line क्या है question में? Such biodata detailed the standing of the international firm with which was associated. So you'll also have to make a reference to these associate guidelines of 711. There is no bar in entering into such an association, but you are not allowed to disclose such an association as per the ICAI clarifications given under clause 7 part 1 first schedule. Are you getting what I am saying? Can you enter into such an association? Yes, but can you disclose such an association? No. Right, so those are the three set of guidelines which we had to study under clause 7 part 1 first schedule. The write-up guidelines, the directorship guidelines, and the associate correspondent guidelines. Right, so clause question 3, question 4, question 5. Right, question number 6. Come to question number 6. SP, a CA obtains registration as category 4 merchant banker under the SEBI rules and regulation and acts as an advisor to a capital issue of MB Company Limited. Can you act as an advisor to a capital issue? Yes. What is not allowed is broking, underwriting, and portfolio management services. He designates himself under the caption merchant banker in client offer documents. So client को तो अपने offer document में लिखना ही पड़ेगा कि who is the merchant banker. So that is okay. An advertiser to issue in his own letterhead, visiting cards and professional documents. So can you write advisor to issue in your own letterheads, visiting cards, professional documents? No. So that is again guilty of professional misconduct under 711. So first you write down the entire clause 7 part 1 first schedule. Then after that it may be noted that in client company offer documents and advertisements regarding capital issue, name and address of the CA acting as advisor consultant to an issue could be indicated under the caption advisor consultant to an issue. Further, such members should not use the designation merchant banker, advisor, consultant to issue in their own letterheads, visiting cards, professional documents, etc. in the given case, and therefore SP shall be held guilty of professional misconduct. Right, so that completes clause 7 part 1 first schedule. Right now your life is very easy. Why it is very easy? Because we are studying the clause and we are seeing the case. So you don't have to apply your mind, which clause is the question from. By default, agar case study is after clause 7, it has to be a question on clause 7. But your life will become miserable. You know, when all of a sudden 4 questions are put in front of you, and then you have to identify first schedule, second schedule, part 1, part 2, clause 6, clause 4, clause 3, clause 5. You understand? No, that time you have to do the plotting. Okay, what are they asking? So that is why right now let it get fit properly into the departments and the compartments in your brain. So that you know the correct file is opened at the right time. We are just registering the 34 clauses in your brain right now. So don't shuffle the data. Okay, right. So now I come to the next one. Clause 8, part 1, first schedule. You know, clause 8, part 1, first schedule. You understand? Say school days, you know, junior KG, senior KG, or those times, you know, pre-nursery, nursery times. Okay, you had a classroom in the, you know, and a bench in the classroom, and then you has to partner with whom you had to sit. Nowadays, so they mostly have an individual chair to sit. But you know, earlier I think you had a classroom and you had a bench and you had a partner with you whom you had to share. And sometimes jagda hota tha partner se, to used to draw a line in between. You understand? That this much is my area and this much is your area. Okay, mainly the girls do this. Okay, right. And then, you know, you're sitting in the class, your teacher has given you something to write and you're writing. And teacher is sitting over here and looking at all the kids. And what one student, you know what happened? While writing, you know, her pencil ka lid broke. And that is why of the partner who was sitting next to her, she snatched her pencil and started writing. And that's other girl very seedhi. So that is why she took out another pencil from the compass box and started writing. Okay, but this teacher saw this from here. What you did, you snatched the pencil. So your teacher came down to you and asked you, you know, okay, your pencil lid broke, right? So that is why you just took the pencil from her. Is this the way you should take a pencil from somebody? If you want anything from anyone, what should you say first? Ask, may I take your pencil? That is the days when you were taught manners in school. No? May I take your pencil? And then your friend would say yes. And then you could take the pencil. Like school mein, you know, sometimes you used to come late and directly enter into the class. Then teacher used to again send you out. Ask, may I come in? And only then you're allowed to come. So now up to last year, X was doing the audit. And now from this year, you are going to do the audit. So in school you were taught that even for a pencil you should ask. So why don't you think that even for an audit you should ask, that may I take your audit? You understand? And if you don't ask that, then you are guilty of professional misconduct under clause 8, part 1, first schedule. A chartered accountant in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he accepts a position as an auditor previously held by another chartered accountant, and that restricted certificate rules or a certified auditor under the restricted certificate rules 1932 now not very relevant. So accepts a position as an auditor previously held by another chartered accountant without first communicating with him in writing. I repeat, accepts his position as an auditor previously held by another chartered accountant without first communicating with him in writing. So you'll say, madam, that dusre CA, the earlier CA who was doing the audit, his office is in our building only. Then I fatafat go and ask him and come back. No, don't fatafat go, writing. Kya bola hai? Without first communicating with him in writing. So either by email or by mail, by courier, but you have to communicate with him in writing. Right, so clause 8 is regarding the NOC. In other words, what is clause 8 regarding? Yes, clause 8 part 1 first schedule is regarding the NOC, the no objection certificate to be obtained by the incoming auditor from the outgoing auditor. 2017-18, you will be seeing your firms preparing lot of NOCs and also replying to a lot of NOCs, mainly for all the company audit, wherein the transitional provision is getting over on 31st of March. So many company auditors are now going to change. So a lot of NOC work is going to happen in office this year. Okay, so now, yes, I am going to discuss with you under clause 8 what are the rules for NOC All of it has been written in your books. You just pay attention. Okay, first thing, when to send the request? Okay, like in essay 505, do you remember essay 505? External confirmations. Okay, there was the auditor and there was a third party. And what did we say? If the third party sends a direct confirmation to the auditor, that is called as external confirmation. But for the third party to send a direct confirmation to the auditor, first the auditor had to send to the third party a confirmation request. Do you remember something like we had studied positive confirmation request, negative confirmation request, open confirmation request, closed confirmation request? So वैसे similarly, now in 811, the incoming auditor wants to obtain an NOC from the outgoing auditor. So first the incoming auditor will have to send to the outgoing auditor the request for NOC. And first the incoming auditor will have to send to the outgoing auditor the request for NOC. So when should I send the request for NOC to the outgoing auditor? Before starting the audit, before signing the report, before accepting the audit. When? Before accepting the audit, not before starting the audit, before accepting the audit. So say today I send the request for NOC and then tomorrow I can start with the audit. Today I sent before accepting and tomorrow then I can start with the audit. No, after sending the request for NOC, before accepting the audit, then you need to wait for a reasonable time. What is a reasonable time? Depends upon the facts and circumstances of the case, but it says you need to wait for a reasonable time. And after you send the request for NOC, so say normally 10 days, 15 days you should wait after you have sent the request for NOC. Next one. How to send the request for NOC? Yes, in writing, okay, but how further? How to send the request for NOC in writing? It has to be sent by hand. By hand against written acknowledgement. So if you send the peon or the office boy in your office to send the request for NOC to the outgoing auditor, you have to tell that office boy to get a written acknowledgement from the outgoing auditor. They have received the request for NOC. Or if you send it by mail or courier, then you have to send it by RPAD, Registered Post Acknowledgement Due, and not under certificate of posting. You understand? Registered post, like घर पे कभी कोई courier आता है तो उस पे लिखा हुआ रहता है ना, this is registered post. So you have to send the request for NOC by registered post acknowledgement due and not under certificate of posting. And it's like, if you're sending it by email, then you have to mark a read receipt. Email में option होता है ना to mark a read receipt, when the third party has received, opened the mail. Right. Why to send the request for NOC only by RPAD or by hand against written acknowledgement and not under certificate of posting? There is a proof, say X is the incoming auditor and Y is the outgoing auditor. X send a request for NOC to Y by certificate of posting. He waited for 15 days for reply, no reply came, and that is why he started with the audit. Tomorrow, Y filed a complaint with ICAI, X accepted the audit without communicating with me. X says, no, I had sent a request for NOC to outgoing auditor. What is the evidence? There is no evidence if you send it under certificate of posting. So why should you communicate by hand against written acknowledgement or by RPAD? So that there is positive evidence regarding the communication with the outgoing auditor. This positive evidence is the key word in 811. Why should you communicate by hand against written acknowledgement or by RPAD? So that there is positive evidence regarding the communication with the outgoing auditor. And a positive evidence regarding the communication. Are you getting that? Yes, positive evidence regarding the communication, right? So read question number 1. Then we'll see the other points. Ex-CA accepted his appointment as a tax auditor. before signing the report, he sent a registered post to the previous auditor. Ab kya fayda? And obtained his post in acknowledgement. Will X be guilty under the Chartered Accountants Act? Yes. So, as per clause 8, part 1, first schedule. Now, look at the masala of clause 8, part 1, first schedule. The justification ke why NOC has been introduced. The object of the incoming auditor communicating in writing with the retiring auditor is to ascertain whether there are any circumstances which warrant him not to accept the appointment. For example, where the previous auditor has been changed on account of having qualified the report, or he had expressed the wish not to continue on account of something inherently wrong with the administration of the business. The retiring auditor may even give out information regarding the condition of accounts or the reasons that impelled him to qualify the report. Under all circumstances, it would be essential for the incoming auditor to carefully consider the facts before deciding whether or not he should accept the audit. And as a matter of professional courtesy, I told you, when you take somebody's pencil, you're taking somebody's audit. As a matter of professional courtesy and professional obligation, it is necessary for the new auditor appointed to communicate with such earlier auditor. So what does it say? One, you will come to know the circumstances for the change in auditor, whether there is anything wrong with the administration of the company, what are the reasons that impelled you to qualify the report, has there been any unjustified removal of the existing auditor? The existing auditor, he was going to report a fraud, and that is why the management removed him. So whether there have been any such instances of, what word did I just use? Unjustified removal of the existing auditor. Whether there has been any unjustified removal of the existing auditor. And again, as a matter of professional courtesy and obligation. The Code of Ethics further points out that it would be a healthy practice if a tax auditor appointed for conducting a special audit communicates with the member who has conducted the statutory audit. So it says even tax auditor should communicate with the statutory auditor. To that extent, they say. Considering the above, X tried to rectify his mistake by communicating with the auditor after accepting the audit but before signing the report. Hence, he will be guilty of professional misconduct. Right. Yes, read question number 2. W, a CA, has sent letters under certificate of posting to the previous auditor informing him of his appointment as an auditor before the commencement of audit by him. Yes, so start writing the answer. As per clause 8 of part 1 of first schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. A chartered accountant in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he accepts his position as an auditor previously held by another chartered accountant without first communicating with him in writing. Then the masala. Then the council has opined that the communication with the outgoing auditor should be done by hand against written acknowledgement or by registered post acknowledgement due and not under certificate of posting, so that there is positive evidence regarding the communication. In the given case, though W has communicated with the outgoing auditor before accepting the audit, but he is communicated through certificate of posting, so there is no positive evidence regarding the communication, and hence W is guilty of professional misconduct. Yes, one-page answer in all the books. Four parts in the answer. Under no, as per. फर्स्ट डे से मैं पढ़ा रही हूँ तुम्हें. एज पर. लाइफ में वही इंपॉर्टेंट है ऑडिट में. एज पर. सीए एक्ट, वीए एक्ट कुछ नहीं. चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स एक्ट. First, why 811? Why should the incoming auditor communicate with the outgoing auditor? Then the council of ICAI. Masala, then council, then case, then conclusion. Right? Write healthy answers. Don't write malnutritioned or undernutritioned, answers. Dirty handwriting, all scratching here and there, all ink spots here and there, 3-4 times scratching on the paper, untidy paper. Writing all own language, no technical words in the paper. Having superscript पे superscript पे superscript. एग्जाम में कैसे करते हैं? पहले लिखते हैं सो मिस्टर डब्ल्यू इज गिल्टी ऑफ प्रोफेशनल मिसकंडक्ट, फिर थोड़े 2-3 आंसर्स आगे लिखने जाते हैं, फिर इधर आते हैं, वापस एक ऐसा माउंटेन निकालते हैं सो ही इज नॉट गिल्टी करते हैं, फिर वापस आगे जाते हैं और 4th-5th क्वेश्चन लिखते हैं, फिर उनको वापस पहले का क्वेश्चन याद आता है, वापस उधर जाते हैं, वापस वो नॉट को कैंसिल करते हैं, फिर बाद में क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 पे आते हैं, राइट शॉर्ट नोट, अगेन दे रिमेंबर नहीं नहीं ही इज नॉट गिल्टी, वापस नोट पे जाते हैं, अगेन अभी इट्स टाइम टू गिव द पेपर, द एग्जामिनर इज हियर, ही इज अबाउट टू कम टू यू, उसके पहले जाके 1 मिनट वापस उसको स्क्रैच करते हैं, नॉट यस यस नो, वो जैसे वो लड़की आज अगर इसने मुड़ के देखा तो वो ऐसे ही मतलब मुड़ेगी नहीं मुड़ेगी, मुड़ेगी नहीं मुड़ेगी, कभी नहीं मुड़ती. ओके दुखी इंसान. Write fast. What are you taking so much time for? हाँ ठीक है ना, even at least by that reason you are writing. Otherwise I've seen audit, they never do writing practice. अच्छा, अभी तुम तो सीए बन जाओगे उसके पहले. ओके, इंस्टीट्यूट टेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. राइट, फिर अभी आंसर में यू नो ना व्हाट इज द की वर्ड इन द आंसर? पॉजिटिव एविडेंस. By hand against written acknowledgement or by registered post acknowledgement due. Immediately, there and there, with the same pen which you are writing your answer, with that you are going to underline these keywords. So that you give an examiner both the options. If you want to read the full answer, that is also there. If you want the keywords, those also have underlined. No need to finish writing, then after entire paper is over or answer is over to highlight the important words. What is it? There and there itself. No double underline, nothing. No using pencil also. With the pen with which you are writing. है ना? So no need to put a heading and then start writing. Directly you just give the keywords. But finally, please underline only the keywords. Some students, once they start underlining, I think the keywords are not underlined. So much they underline. है ना? So let it look like, you've underlined just 4-5 important words. And if you're not sure, then don't, highlight your unsureness. If you're not sure whether he is guilty or not guilty, then don't underline over there. Don't invite trouble. If you're very confident कि हाँ मैंने एकदम भारी term लिखा है, positive evidence, then underline. है ना? The examiner should not miss on that word which you have written in your answer. Anyways, the examiners are told clearly, they have to read your answer word by word, line by line. So what, is W guilty or not guilty? Yes, guilty. Why guilty? Why? Because he sent the communication by certificate of posting and not by hand against written acknowledgement or by registered post acknowledgement due. Yes, the Council of ICAI has opined that communication with the outgoing auditor should be done by hand against written acknowledgement or by RPAD so that there is positive evidence regarding the communication before acceptance of the audit also. So in this case, he is communicated before accepting, no? Before the commencement of audit, yani ki that's what, before accepting. Yes, you can interpret, before commencement of audit, before acceptance of audit. Right, so but main, what is the question area? Certificate of posting. Okay, right, come to question number 4 also. Yes, everybody come to question number 4. B was appointed as an auditor of XYZ Limited in place of A. B sent a letter of communication to A under certificate of posting out and proceeds to conduct the audit. A makes a complaint to the institute on the basis of non-receipt of communication. A is justified in making a complaint to ICAI. So as per clause 8, part 1, first schedule, the council has taken a view that a mere posting of letter under certificate of posting is not sufficient to establish communicate with the retiring auditor unless there is some evidence to show that the letter has in fact reached the person communicated with. A CA who relies upon a letter sent posted under certificate of posting therefore does so at his own risk. Merely obtaining a certificate of posting does not fulfill the requirements of clause 8. There should be positive evidence of the fact that the communication addressed to the outgoing auditor by the incoming auditor has reached his hands. Certificate of posting of a letter cannot in the circumstances be taken as positive of its delivery to the addressee. Members should therefore communicate with the retiring auditor in such a manner so as to retain in their hands positive evidence of the delivery of the communication to the addressee. In the opinion of the council, communication by letter sent RPAD or by hand against written acknowledgement would in the normal course provide such evidence. An important one. In view of the above, A, a retiring auditor, complains about the non-receipt of communication and as B, the incoming auditor, has no positive evidence to prove the delivery of the communication to the retiring auditor, hence he will be guilty of professional misconduct. Right, so that is one, when to send the request for NOC before accepting the audit and then wait for a reasonable time. How to send the request for NOC, to send it by hand against written acknowledgement or by RPAD and not under certificate of posting. Next one, is NOC required for all types of audits? So last year you were doing the VAT audit. This year say I am going to do the VAT audit. Should I take an NOC from you? Last year you were doing internal audit. This year say I am going to do internal audit. Should I take NOC from you? Yes. Where previous auditor is CA, NOC is mandatory for all types of audit. है ना, clause के wordings में क्या लिखा हुआ है? What is written in the wordings of the clause? If he accepts position as an auditor previously held by another chartered accountant. So previous auditor is CA, then NOC is a mandatory requirement. Previous auditor is a CA, then NOC is a mandatory requirement for all types of audit. And previous auditor is non-CA, yani ke BCom and CS and other professionals. Then what does the ethics say? Healthy practice to communicate. Then in that case, what does ethics say? Healthy practice to communicate. Now, in the Companies Act 2013, we have no concept called as special audit. But in the old company law 1956, you know, we had section 233A, which was regarding the special audit. Right, so who can conduct and direct a special audit of the company to be conducted? The central government. So now say A has been appointed to conduct the special audit by the central government under section 233A. And say F was doing the statutory audit of the company. A has been appointed by the central government to conduct the special audit. And say F was doing the statutory audit of the company. Should the special auditor take an NOC from the regular auditor, from the statutory auditor? Are you getting my question? Hannah, A has been appointed as the special auditor under section 233A. And F has been the statutory auditor, the regular auditor, old company law section 224, new company law section 139. So should A take an NOC from F? No. In case of special audit, no NOC required from the regular auditor. And in case of special audit, anyways now special audit is not there, but this concept is there in ethics. That is why I'm talking about it. Government company audit, is NOC required from the previous auditor? Up to last year, you were doing the audit of ONGC. From this year, I am going to do the audit of ONGC. Should I take an NOC from you? Should I take an NOC from you? CNAG will appoint the auditor. So CNAG last year tak appointed him. From this year they've appointed me. So should I take an NOC from the outgoing auditor? Should I send a request for NOC to the outgoing auditor? When should I send a request for NOC? Before accepting the audit. And normal case mein kya bola hai? Wait for a reasonable time. But in case of government audit, you can give a conditional acceptance and start with the more important work immediately. So what I can do, today I can send you a request for NOC and I can say subject to receipt of NOC and I can start with the work tomorrow itself. Normal, other than government audit ke liye kya bola hai? Wait for a reasonable time. Wait for a reasonable time bola hai na, after you send the request for NOC. Par government audit ke liye kya bola hai? Send a request for NOC, give a conditional acceptance and start with the more important work immediately. So in case of government audit, is there a need to wait for a reasonable time? There is no need. You can give a conditional acceptance and you can start with the more important work immediately. ICAI has not yet made a question on this one. ICAI has not yet made a question on this one. So one incoming auditor, what you have to ensure? Yes, you have to obtain an NOC from the outgoing auditor. And second thing, incoming auditor, you have to ensure whether the undisputed audit fees of the previous auditor have been paid. So this year say I am doing audit, last year tak you were doing audit. So one responsibility which I have under 811 is to take an NOC from you. And second, I should check from the company's books whether the undisputed audit fees of the previous auditor have been paid. However, this provision does not apply to sick unit. And what is a sick unit? Where the net worth is negative. So you know last year you were doing the audit of sick limited, and it's a sick unit. You understand? Say sick limited. So now in that case, should I check whether undisputed audit fees have been paid? In that case, I need not check. But say healthy limited, then in that case, I need to ensure that the undisputed audit fees of the previous auditor have been paid. Okay, now one more point. Yes, A was doing the statutory audit of Geo Limited for 10 years or say 12 years. And now he knows rotation of company audit applicable to Geo Limited. That is why I no longer can do the audit of A. That is why he himself tells another chartered accountant B, okay, would you like to do the audit of Geo Limited? And then B says, okay, I will do the audit, and that is why B is appointed as the auditor. So is A aware of the appointment of B as an auditor of Geo Limited? Is the incoming auditor aware of the fact that next year, outgoing auditor aware of the fact that next year he is not going to be appointed? Still should B take an NOC from A? Yes, the requirement of clause 8 is absolute, even though if the previous auditor is aware of the appointment. Are you getting what I am telling you? The requirement of clause 8 is absolute. Right, so once what we said, whether NOC required for all types of audit? Yes, where previous auditor CA, NOC is mandatory. Non-CA, then it says healthy practice to communicate. Special auditor, is he required to take NOC from regular auditor? No, NOC not required. Government audit, what does it say? Request for NOC to be sent, and you can give a conditional acceptance and start with the more important work immediately. NOC to be sent even if previous auditor is aware of the appointment? Yes, the requirement of clause 8 is absolute. Undisputed audit fees of previous auditor, have they been paid or not? The incoming auditor should ensure the same. However, the provision does not apply to sick unit. Right, and the last one in the clarifications for 811, undercutting of fees. Okay, so now, yes, Geo Limited say has its office in Mumbai. Okay, last year the CAA was doing the audit of Geo Limited, and the CAA was coming from Chennai to do the audit of Geo Limited, and say he was charging a fee of 70 lakh. Now from this year onwards, okay, CAD is going to do the audit of Geo Limited. So obviously Geo Limited continues to be in Mumbai. And luckily the CAD is also located in Mumbai. So now this Chennai auditor, all the money which he had to pay for traveling and lodging and boarding, which was included in the audit fees of 70 lakh, those expenses will have to be incurred by CAD. So that is why CAD is ready to do the audit, say example for 20 lakh. Can CAD file a complaint against CAD, saying that this fellow is doing undercutting of fees? And okay, I was doing audit at 70 lakh, and now this fellow, he is ready to do the audit of 20 lakh, and that is why the client has given him the work. Can CAD file a complaint against CAD? No, he cannot file a complaint. And see, it's very simple. Last year tak your firm, ka audit was done by some company, ka audit was done by some middle-sized firm. How much fee they used to charge? Say 5 lakh. Say now your company is with the intention of coming up with an IPO, and that is why you appoint a Big Four as an auditor. And for that same work, the Big Four will charge you 48 lakh rupees fee. So that middle-sized firm was doing the work for you for 5 lakh, and now the Big Four, for the same work, they are a little bit here and there, they are charging you 48 lakh. You understand? On the higher side. Or say from the Big Four you come to a small firm. So again that 48 lakh, some medium-sized firm will be ready to do it for 8 lakh. So will that be considered as undercutting of fees? No. What you need to consider in that case is the quantum of work, the incidental expenses, and the other terms of appointment. है ना कि काम कितना कम ज़्यादा है, incidental expenses. I told you, the previous auditor used to spend a lot of money on traveling, which was included in the audit fee. Here the fact is that the previous auditor was charging higher amount due to his long distance commuting problem as he was stationed in another town. However, the newly appointed auditor used to reside in the same town. I just gave you the example, no? And Geo Limited is in Mumbai and the D is also in Mumbai. Earlier example A was in Chennai and Geo Limited was in Mumbai. Yes, are you getting that? Right. So now while considering whether variation in fees charged by new auditor would be considered as undercutting the quantum of work, the incidental and out-of-pocket expenses and the other terms of appointment should be considered. Therefore, in the given circumstances, newly appointed auditor cannot be held guilty of misconduct for accepting audit assignment at lower fees. So if previous auditor was doing the audit for 30 lakh and if you are ready to do the same audit for 5 lakh, is that guilty of professional misconduct? No, that is not guilty of professional misconduct. Right, let's come to the question bank. We've seen question number 1, 2, come to question number 3. Right, everybody come to question number 3. BC and Company, a firm of CAs, accepted an assignment for audit under state level VAT Act without any prior communication with the previous auditor. And guilty. A communication is a mandatory requirement for all types of audit if the previous auditor is CA. Are you seeing that sentence in your book? Third sentence in the answer. NOC is a mandatory requirement if previous auditor is CA. Hence, the firm is guilty of professional misconduct. Question number 5. Yes, question number 5. Kishore, a practicing CA, was appointed by the central government to carry out a special audit under the Companies Act 1956. He accepted the appointment and proceeded with the work without communicating with the statutory auditor of the company. Right? Not guilty, because specifically said, the council has specifically clarified that it is not necessary for the auditor who is appointed to conduct a special audit to communicate with the previous auditor who has conducted a regular audit for the period covered by the special audit. Right? I told you the special audit question has already been asked, but that government audit question has not yet been asked. What is the government audit question? You can give a conditional acceptance and start with the more important work immediately. Next one, question number 6, which is again only an RTP question, and only RTP questions are very near and dear to us. Right? Start reading. CAT, in practice. He failed to intimate his appointment to the statutory auditors of the company. The statutory auditor feels that this is violation of professional ethics. Internal auditor didn't communicate to me. You understand? What does it say? Internal audit and statutory auditor are parallel positions and not replacement positions. NOC is required for replacement positions and not for parallel positions, and that is why there is no question of communicating in writing by Mr. T. What are the important words in the answer? Parallel positions and replacement positions. As per clause 8 part 1 first schedule. This clause is applicable in situation of replacing of one auditor by another auditor. Internal auditor and statutory auditors are parallel positions and not replacement positions. The management generally appoints the internal auditor, whereas the statutory auditor will be appointed by the shareholders in the AGM. In this situation, there is no need for communication by one to the other. In view of the above, the contention of the statutory auditor is unacceptable and there is no question of communication. Right, question number 7. Yes. Question number 7. G and Company, a firm of CAs, was appointed as an internal auditor of Easy Limited, replacing H and Company, another firm of CA, which had expressed their inability to continue as an internal auditor to the management through a resignation letter. So your question, internal audit. Right? G and Company proceeded to conduct the internal audit without communicating with H and Company. What does it say? All types of audit, whether statutory, tax, internal, concurrent, or any other kind of audit. Accordingly, G and Company will be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. So again, only an RTP question. Question number 6 and 7. Right? Question number 8. A locally based CA accepted an audit assignment at a fee lower than that charged by the previous auditor who was stationed in another town and had to spend a lot of money on travel for which he did not charge separately. So a Chennai Mumbai example. है ना? So the incidental expenses, the quantum of work, and also the agreement, right? So will not be held guilty or for misconduct, right? So that is clause 8, part 1, first schedule. What are the wordings of clause 8? Accepts his position as an auditor previously held by another chartered accountant without first communicating with him in writing. Right? We take a break and then come to clause 9, part 1, first schedule.